my clients, like for example, let's say they are sick. If it was a face-to-face therapy, no way, they can't come, no way.
Hmm.
But even when they're sick, they take their mug, they're in their bed, and we do our therapy. This is luxury. Anna had never had a partner. She had a woman partner. They lived 50 years together.
She's gay. Anna's gay. I love. Now I want to read it. Welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself? What's your name? All of your information, age, and all of that, and your profession.
Okay, first of all, Aysun, I would like to thank you that you introduced me as your guest in your channel. I've seen your videos and I think you're doing a great job. So I hope this video is going to be as good as the others,
Thank you.
interesting as the others, actually. My name is Şehnaz Tuna. I'm a Turkish clinical psychologist. I'm 50 years old. I was born all my life. I was born and raised in Istanbul, and I had all my education in this city. And since 2016, I have been an online therapist as well, which later I'm going to tell you how that adventure started and what things I went through while I was establishing that. Um, I have two kids. I have a daughter. She's 26 years old. Her name is Deniz. And my son is 25 years old. His name is Memo. And hold on, I have another daughter.
Oh, look at this beauty. I can't.
This is my daughter who stayed with me. The others went away their own lives, and but she's always with me. And her name is Tinky. She's 9.5 years old. She's a little Yorkie. And what else? I don't want to say I'm a writer, but I wrote two books because I'm not a writer yet, I think. I have two books published. One is a short story book, and the other one is a biography of Anna Freud. And my third project is on its way. It's a psychological thriller, let me say. And I think I work. I do my online face-to-face therapies in Acıbadem. It's I don't know you if you heard of the group. It's a health group in Turkey. I think for the time being, this is a very short, brief summary of myself.
That's amazing, honestly. And if I've learned something from the writers that I've talked to, it's if you write daily and if you love writing, then you're a writer. I don't think that you have to sell millions to call yourself a writer. So I'm very impressed by your writing. Actually, the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because my mom read me your article about empathy and it was amazing. Like it had an amazing writing flow. And I was like, this woman is not only good in therapy, this woman is not only good in helping people, but she's actually an amazing writer. Like
Thank
putting together that article takes a lot of research. Like it takes studying what you have studied, then it takes talking to the people that you've talked to, and then it takes like researching different theories and then putting the article together. And I think many people don't know what it takes to write, and you definitely do know that. So I'm very impressed by your work.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to hear this because I know you're a very intellectual young woman. So it's very good to hear. I feel flattered to hear this from you. Plus, I forgot to mention something very important for me. I write regularly on a very distinguished. I don't want to say it's a magazine, like it's like a little booklet almost. It's published every 2 months. It's called Pisca Art. I don't know if you ever heard, and it's um, uh, people from the profession, psychiatrists, psychologists, and people in art. We write every 2 months, and every 2 months there's a different theme. Like that one was about empathy. That month it was about empathy. Like sometimes it's about animal love, sometimes jealousy, sometimes love, hate, aggression. So actually it's very privileged for me because every 2 months I do research. Like for example, I'm a 20-year-old. I have been in this profession for 20 years, and I'm a Freud fan. But for example, I never knew Freud had this passion about animals, because one of the theme was about animal love. Or I didn't know Freud had a little book only on telepathy, and I did this when I was researching about telepathy. So Pisca Art gives me this opportunity actually. It's a very
Yes,
good magazine.
it sounds very variable what you're doing. Tell me, how did you start in your journey of being a therapist? How did you even discover that that is something that you want to do?
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm now when I'm going back, I think it was kind of like a modeling because my nephew, my cousin from my father's side, she studied psychology. So it was her that I learned about the profession. And during our time, which is like maybe like 30 years ago, um, or 20 something years ago, psychology was not a especially clinical psychology was not a very popular branch. Like all my friends, they were fighting to be able to get into like professions like administration, economics, political science. But being a good student, I said, no, I'm only going to write. My first choice is going to be clinical psychology. And everybody was saying, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Crazy? What are you going to do? And then something very unfortunate happened in my life. I lost my father that year, that exam year. And another unfortunate thing was my father didn't want me to be a psychologist because there was some other stuff about my cousin, and my father was very it was like a classical conditioning for him. So he thought same things would happen to me. So he always he didn't want me to be a psychologist. And plus, since my father passed the same year, I quit studying. So I was in a totally another. I was not in psychology, but during my second pregnancy, I was going through my books, and well, the reason I did this, it was like a testament from my father. So my love for psychology never died. And during my second pregnancy, I realized that I was still in love with the field because I was only keeping my psychology books. So that's how, like, after some years, like maybe 5 or 6 years later, I went back and did my clinical psychology profession. It was like a adventurous times for me, like two kids and a marriage to go on, and I was doing my profession. But thanks God, it was my dream job since I was 16, and I got it.
I think that's really inspirational because many people have a dream and it always stays a dream. And you had the courage to go for your dream, even after a certain amount of time. Was there something that helped you in particular to achieve that?
Well, to say the truth, actually, I had the means to do that. For example, yes, I had two children, but I had two babies actually, not even children. I mean, my two children were 16 months apart. They were almost like twins, but like my mother was a great helper. Or like my husband, he never put sets on me. Like he always encouraged me, like because I was studying, it was hard. I was a graduate of Boğaziçi University, which was a hard school. So I had my supports. I had my support system. Otherwise, it would be kind of hard for me to do that. But uh, I always tell to young people that I know this is a cliche. I know this sentence is a very cliche. Go after your dreams. Yes, go after your dreams. Same thing applied for my writing career, which I might tell you later on. So if you set it in your mind and if you have the means, I think there's no reason that you cannot do it.
I totally agree with you. And for everyone that doesn't know the Turkish system, to get into university, you have to be very good. And then you have a list of the schools that you want, and you can get into number one. You can also get into number five if you don't get the number one, for example. And Boğaziçi University is the number one university in the country. So, like, I'm talking to a very successful woman right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did you start your online business and how did you even get the idea?
Yes. Now that is one of the things I'm really I'm proud in my life that I initiated, because as I told you, that was a dream again. Because during it was 2016, and in 2016, uh, not by the way, my WhatsApp icon is hopping. Do you see it?
No,
Ah,
no.
okay. Okay. In that time, uh, again, same thing, like online therapy was something that people were not doing. So uh, even like my close friend who's a psychologist, I first shared this idea with her. I said, I'm planning to do this, and she said, oh, I wouldn't do it. If I were you, I wouldn't do it. And I was kind of discouraged, but I said, no, I'm going to do it. And uh, as soon as I saw it, like in Turkish Psychological Association, there are what do you call yönetmelik, like the rules. I saw it in that legacy. Do you call it legacy? I don't know now what it is, but like in the list, it
Hmm.
was called untraditional psychotherapy forms, and there was online therapy in it. But
Hmm.
no, almost nobody that I knew was initiating this. Anyway, so I set my mind up, and then I was looking for a name, and I had an IT friend, and I'm asking him, okay, can you check işte sanal therapy, virtual therapy, is it open? No, they say, oh, it's taken. Is e-therapy? No, is online? No, and then I said, oh, Cahit, can you please check evinizde therapy, because therapy at home.
Hmm.
It seemed very warm to me. And he says, yes, yes, it's free. I said, take it. And then,
Amazing.
you know what, Aysun? Uh, we took the name, and the next day I built the company.
That's
Yes, next.
crazy.
Yes, yes. And in a week, we had the web page done, everything, and we took all the domain names and everything. So I started my online therapy career in like a week or maybe 10 days the most. As soon as I found the name. So now it's been very busy, and like when I started, like people were very suspicious. Oh, online therapy, is it safe and things like that. Now most of my clients, they prefer online therapy actually.
No joke, you were just ahead of your time. Now we have things like BetterHelp, that is an app. We had the
Yeah,
pandemic, so even traditional therapists had to go online. So you were
exactly.
way above the time. That is crazy.
I want to give an info, thank you, but when I started this, Talkspace, BetterHelp, they were already there.
Ah.
Actually,
Mhm.
that is how I got the idea from. But like when I started the business, like Talkspace, uh, they had only like 500 psychologists. Now they have thousands of psychologists working for them.
Mhm.
I mean, like I grew, they grew also. But when I first figured out the Talkspace company, it was a small company.
And you decided to go independent and not with another company,
No,
right? Yeah.
no. But this year, I think I'm going to start working with colleagues
Mm-hmm.
because they ask if I'm open for that. So I think I'm going to. Um, I don't want to use the word hire. I don't like the word to say hire. We will be working together with
Mm-hmm.
young psychologists. So starting from September, evidence therapy is going to grow also.
Amazing. And do you prefer something? Do you prefer face-to-face or online therapy?
You know what? Well, online therapy for me is, as I told you, it was like that was my dream also. So it kind of holds a different place in my life, but they are both so different. I mean, like, but uh, I don't have a prefer. I don't prefer one over another. But I might tell you this: my clients do prefer. Like during the pandemics era, like I had my some of my clients were coming to me to Acıbadem, and they knew even over Acıbadem we started operating online. They didn't want to do that.
Hmm.
They wanted to be online, face to face.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of choice. But structure wise, there is no difference. I mean, huh, only difference I say that I don't shake hands and I don't give you handkerchiefs. That's the napkins. But of course, uh, like a major depression,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't prefer seeing online,
Yeah.
or or uh, or a very serious suicidal thought, like someone who has a suicidal thought, I wouldn't see online.
Yeah.
I mean, those are risky stuff. But otherwise, it works perfectly well.
Yep, totally get that. I thought about being a therapist actually quite a while, and then
You
I
did?
decided, yeah, and then decided to change to journalism. But something that was on my mind a lot, going back to empathy, is feeling a lot with the people and carrying that back home when you're done working. So, how do you separate your personal life from your professional life? Do you have any advice on that?
Two things were the first two things that were taught to us in our education was, again, I'm going to mention about suicide, but if somebody, uh, even if you're in this profession or not, if somebody is talking about harming themselves, don't take it as a joke. I mean, don't think, oh, they're threatening, they're making show of business. No, no. This is the first thing that was taught to us. We have to take it very seriously. And the second thing that was taught was highlighted was as soon as that time there was no online therapy, but as soon as you're out of the room, you have to put your therapist coat in there. Leave your therapist coat in there. Well, sometimes of course, it's not all the time possible. Like some very tragic things happen, and you have to witness that. So, and you're a human being. So, uh, feeling wise, it's kind of hard to let go of the feeling, but it is not very hard to separate profession from your daily life in terms of, like, for example, I meet somebody new and they say, oh, I'm so unlucky, now you're going to see me as a psychologist. No, never in my life I did that, because that's a burden for me also. I mean, can you imagine, you will look at the person that you will be in interaction in your daily life. Oh, this is the defense mechanism. Oh, this is that. This is this. That's not good. So I can do that. but feeling wise, sometimes that feeling lingers on. Like when a patient gets sick, or like when they lose someone, or like a major crisis happens in their life, and that feeling comes here, even through the screen, doesn't matter, face to face or screen. So when I'm done with this session, uh, of course for the next session I have to reset. But when the day, or in my case night, because I give sessions until midnight, when the when all the sessions are over, the feeling hits. I mean,
Yeah.
that's to say the truth, you cannot escape that. But um, like a very tragic happened just a couple months ago. My One of my patients, he was sick, and unfortunately he lost his life. So, and I learned this very abruptly, because I wasn't able to reach him, and he was in hospital and everything. um, it wasn't psychological, it was totally physical. I couldn't do my sessions. I mean, I had to cancel three of my sessions uh, when I first heard the news. So these things happen. I mean, just because you're a psychologist, you're not a machine. You're a human being with feelings. I
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if this answer was an answer to her question.
Absolutely, and I respect that a lot. Your job is confidential, and being confidential gives the other person freedom, but it gives you a burden as well, because you would talk about it differently if it wouldn't be a client. And I guess, like, how do you talk about it with other people, with your husband or your children, for example? Can you talk about it, or are you talking about it just in the way that you share your feelings but don't disclose any information about the other person?
No, but we are allowed to do this. Like as I told you, like one of my best friends is she's a very good psychologist as well,
Hmm.
and we share our feelings about our sessions, and plus, like I have a therapist of my own that I have been working for how many years? We just talked about it's like 20 or 25 years. I mean,
Wow.
it's not a therapy anymore. Like we see each other every 3 weeks, and I also share with him. So I have those channels, but you cannot go and talk about your feelings in your daily time. I mean, of course, in this case, when you lose your patient, I mean, you see, I mean, I cried. I cried.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
household sees it. But other, yani, you don't prefer to share your
Yeah.
feelings about your therapy sessions.
Absolutely. And I know we both believe in therapy, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But some people don't believe in it. What would you tell those people?
You know, Aysun, I have a client. I have been seeing him for like for maybe 4 years. No, 5 years. 5 years. Actually, it's not therapy anymore. It's like a coaching. And so you know what he said? He's a lawyer from another city, and he said, in Turkish we have Şehnaz Hanım.
Hmm.
He said, Şehnaz Hanım, uh, we take our cars to daily, like to maintenance, like
Hmm.
not daily, like yearly maintenance. Same thing is good for our soul. He said therapy is like maintenance for our soul. So I said I'm going to use this because I loved it so much. Yes, because people are thinking still there's a group of people who think only people with mental health problems go to therapy. No, uh, I have like lots of my patients, they don't have mental health problems, but they want to have quality life. Like
Yeah.
they want to look at their inner dynamics, they want to change, and change happens with therapy because uh, therapy is a very serious business. I mean, can you imagine every week, every single week, same time, same minutes you have to be here. That's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work. So but when you do that, you obtain that like like wherever you want to reach, you go there.
Absolutely. And I think, like you said, it's a very, very important business. And you're not only doing it for money, otherwise, you could have done any other job. I think what you're saying to a person is whatever happens, you are not alone as long as you let me help you. And I think that is very important for people.
Exactly, and therapy is like a it's a mutual thing. I mean, eh, as you said, you're not alone. You're with your therapist. So in Turkish we say bir elin nesi var, iki elin sesi var. When you're together, you can see it more clearly. There's another metaphor that I really love about therapy. Uh, there's another misbelief about psychotherapy. They say, oh, the therapist tells you to do this. No, therapist is not allowed to tell you, like, oh, Aysun, do this, Aysun, don't do that. No, this is not ethic. But the best way, one of the best metaphors that describes the psychotherapy is, for example, let's say we are working together. It is like this: we are in a very dark room, but it's pitch dark. We don't see anything, both of us, but we know there's that button. If we find that button, you hit the button and the room will be lighted. I have a torch in my hand, torch, right? Fener.
Yeah.
And I go like this, but we are together, we are tandem in the room, okay? I go like this, we all look. And the torch, light of the torch shows us the button, but
Hmm.
it is you who goes and hits the button. Therapist doesn't. Therapist just helps you find that button. So I really like that metaphor. So that's what I will advise. I mean, this is the maintenance of the soul. You don't have to have very big problems in your life. I mean, imagine even I am taking sessions time to time, even, and that's again like it's very advisable that if you are going to be a psychotherapist, you have to analyze yourself first.
Yes.
You have to get in balance with your inner dynamics, your goals, your past, your future, your here and now. So I personally did two years of psychoanalysis, which was very hard work. Like in psychoanalysis, like you go 2 or 3 times a week. It was really a challenge, but you have to do that. I mean, everybody has to do that.
Yeah, I can believe that. That and something else. Is there something else that you would like to share with young psychologists that you would advise them to do if they want to be successful in the field?
This is a very good question. Do you ride? Do you ride a car? Do you know how to ride a
Yeah.
car?
Yeah.
Okay, if you know how to ride a car, I'm sure you know that your first accident happens when you say, oh, I'm okay. In our field, we don't have that luxury to say, I'm okay. Look, I have been in this field for like 20 years and I give like 50 sessions a week, which is like 200 sessions a month, maybe. Even, even, even that, I never say I'm done. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I always take advice from my colleagues. I check myself. So in psychology, you don't have the luxury to say I'm okay. You have to always check yourself, always learn new stuff. Like I personally, I'm an old school therapist. I use psychodynamic and CBT, but just nowadays I have been flirting with ACT.
Hmm.
It's a like acceptance and it's called acceptance and commitment therapy. It's kind of like under CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, but I'm not like this. Oh, for 20 years I'm doing this. I'm not open to new things. No, Because if it is good for your clients, you have to take that.
Mhm.
So this is what I advise. Never say I'm done. Never say I'm okay. Always learn, and always, how do you say, yetiştirmek? Uh,
Yeah, always educate yourself.
yeah, always.
I think that's really important. Yeah, even in any profession, really, even in my
Yeah,
profession.
actually, yeah, yeah.
Actually, just keeping it going. And how did you start writing? Tell me about that.
Oh, well, that's another thing. Um, I got a divorce. How old was I? 40. Yeah, I was 40 years old, and I was always. I'm a book. I'm a really frequent.
Reader.
I'm a reader. So every reader wants to write. Every reader's dream is to write.
Absolutely.
And when you divorce, when you have a new life, you have your new dreams and everything. And I had this course announcement, and it was like on my desk. I'm looking, and it's looking at me. I'm looking, and I said, whatever. I mean, why try? What's going to happen? So that's how I started. I started attending that course. It was a course of Murat Gülsoy. He's a very, very good, very famous writer, and he taught us how to write. I mean, writing, of course, it needs some, not ability, but it needs some imagination. It needs
Hmm.
some organization. But I mean, you don't get born with writing genes. In Murat Gülsoy's courses, lessons, what we learned is writing can be learned. That's why a lot of famous writers are writing books about how to write. Of course, practice makes perfect. Just in the beginning of our not session, I keep on saying session, but in the beginning, you said if you write every day, yes, that's what Murat Gülsoy always told us. You have to write, like, even you are writing some stupid things, write every day, write. So after that, I had some. I started writing short stories, and then I published them. And then our publication house, they asked me if I would write about Anna. First, I was very excited, but then I learned there was very little resource, because Anna never wanted to give info about her life.
Hmm.
So I had some hard time reaching resources, and plus a whole life, we had. It doesn't have to be. It shouldn't be very long. So, but it was one of the good projects in my life. I enjoyed, because I'm sure you will like Anna also. You should read Anna also.
I honestly, I find it to be very unprofessional to have an interview if you haven't read the book. But my Turkish is slow. That's why I haven't read your book yet. But I'm working on it. My Turkish is a bit slower than my English. So, yeah, we're working on it. But I really want to read your book. I think it's a fantastic story. And I think you can see that you pushed yourself to get more research and to push yourself in your limits. And like you can see it in your work.
Thank you, thank you. Because why I told you, I know you are a very strong and intellectual young woman, and that's how Anna was like. I mean, can you imagine? She was like among men all the time, and her father is Sigmund Freud, and but Freud gave his profession to her. But
Wow.
even she was 14 years old. That time, Freud and his colleagues, they were putting up secret meetings, and Anna was always listening there. And Freud was known as father of psychoanalysis, and Anna is known for as being mother of psychoanalysis. So it's a very interesting story. I mean, like, um, how Freud and his theories are, but Anna had never had a partner. She had a woman partner. They lived 50 years together.
She's gay. Anna's gay. I love. Now I want to read it.
Actually, sexuality wise, uh, They even say they didn't have any sexual relationship with Dorothy, but they were always together 50 years.
Hmm.
50 years old companionship. It's a very interesting. You have to. If not from my book, I will send you a book. Okay, you have to read that. I will send
Thank you.
it.
Thank you. You're endearing. Thank you. What is your favorite project? It seems like it's Anna, but I just want to ask, like, what is your favorite writing project that you've worked on that you are working on right now?
Well, let me say the truth. My last project, which is in right now, I send it to what you call publication house, and I'm
Hmm.
waiting to hear from them. And I worked on it for 2.5 years. Uh,
Wow.
it's a long time, and I had very interesting feelings. For example, I couldn't separate from my characters because I'm saying, okay, this is the end. I said, this is the end. I come and then, no, I go back. Finally, my editors told to me, she said, okay, you have to separate. I just learned later on that these dynamics happen. So I believe in it very much, and I hope it's going to be published in couple months. It was a very different experience for me. Writing a novel is something else.
I can believe that. I think that's really exciting. Do you have any advice on pitching? Because I personally find it terrifying to pitch someone with something that you've written and being like, is this going to be published? Like, do you have any advice as a published artist and author?
What is it? The people.
Pitching, like
What is that?
pitching means sending something to an editor
Ah,
and being like, are you going to publish this?
yes. Well, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I have to be patient. I believe in my work. Somehow it's going to happen, and but I'm very excited. And I'm waiting.
Amazing. And do you have any specific future goals? You talked about your book, you talked about working with other authors and other psychologists as well. Do you have anything else?
Uh, Aysun, to say the truth, I loved writing. So in the future, maybe I'm going to organize my time so I will have more time to write because I want to, even now, I mean, I just finished a book like a month ago. Even now, something inside me is, like getting bubbly, and I say, oh, what am I going to write next? So, in my future goal, I want to keep on writing more, and I want to educate more psychologists because when I am expanding ebenezer therapy, my other goal is like I'm going to take new psychologists in
Hmm.
my team. So I want to educate more psychologists uh, in an ethical way. So the more psychologists are out there, the more helping hands are out there. So I think in my first book, I said two of my dreams came together in that book, writing and psychology, because it was a short story book, but after every story, I wrote couple pages about the theme, like the theme of one story is love, the other one is hope, the other one, like one story was about OCD. So it was like a story and like an article, story article, story article. So I think that summarizes my life. I mean, psychology and literature. So uh, my future goal is that also, keep on with psychology and never separate from literature.
Absolutely. And my professor, my journalism professor, I love him, Tom Collins. He always says, if you want to be a writer, just write. Um, how do you do that with 200 sessions a month? Like, how do you manage your time? How are you a real person?
It was hard. Well, I have some slots, like Sunday, I don't work. Friday after 12 o'clock, I don't work. So those slots I always use, like after the sessions are over, because since those two things are different, they don't exhaust you. Like, okay, I give 8 sessions, but I can't give 4 more sessions. But after the 8 sessions, I can write, because writing is like a therapy for me. So, but it took let me tell you the truth. Like, if I was only writing, I would finish the same project maybe in a year.
Hmm.
That's why it took me 2.5 years.
Absolutely. I totally get that. Um, and I know like writing is also work, but when you say it's like therapy, I totally feel that because when you're in the flow, it just comes out of you in a very natural way. And I think that's magic. Like people that actually love writing and that have felt this flow while they're writing, um, it's just magical.
Are you writing? I mean, like a book
I'm
or because.
always working on projects. I'm
Mhm.
also always very daunted to share them. But I just love writing on articles. And maybe I hope in the future at some point a book would be amazing.
Because I see that in you. I
Thank
see
you.
that passion in you.
Thank you so much. Um, what are some words of encouragement for young people that want to start any career, really? Like, what has helped you the most in finding inspiration and keeping you going?
I just wrote a recent article about self-fulfilling prophecy. In that article, I mentioned the writer Rhonda Byrne, the writer of
Yeah,
Secret. And Rhonda didn't do anything new. She just took something very old and she packaged it and announced it to the whole world, which is, she says, iste, want, wait, no, iste, inan, believe,
believe.
believe, bekle, wait, al, get it. Um, like when I told you about my experiences in my life, I didn't know Rhonda before. I mean, I knew Rhonda as Secret in 2007. But when I go and look at back in my life, I personally, whenever I did that, I received it. Plus, receive. The word is receive. In her books, it's receive. So I think I'm going to repeat that because Aysun. I mean, today we talked about my life in center, but as I told you, I witnessed lots of life stories, lots of, and in almost all of them, I am seeing this. When you wait, when you want, when you wait, when you believe, you receive it. So I think that's what I will advise, because people nowadays, patience is a hard virtue to
Yeah.
keep, because word is so, everything is so fast, it goes like this. But if we want something to happen, we want to be patient, we have to be patient, everything. I mean, like, for example, I went to that course for how many years? Maybe 3 years before I published my first book, for just a very simple example. So I think I will advise that they have to want a lot, they have to believe a lot, they have to wait, and then they will receive. And
Amazing
work, of course,
work
working, yeah,
a lot.
steady working, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the talk. I loved this. This was
Thank you.
delightful, and you absolutely made my week. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and I'm also honored to be a guest in your channel. It's a very unique one. I loved. I looked at your videos, and I love the insights you provide. So I hope, because I know you're a busy woman also, so it takes time. YouTube channels takes time. I know. So, and I wish you also very good accomplishments in your life. And I'm going to send you the book.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything, honestly.
Thank you,
See you
Aysun.
later.
Hope to see you. Bye bye.